Welcome.
Good morning. We're back.
Yes.
It's been a minute
How long has it been? About what, 5-ish, 5, 6 months
since August. So what's
since
that?
August? Yeah, about 6 months.
Yeah. Um, but a lot has happened since then. So that's a good thing. It wasn't 6 months of just rest. It was 6 months of memories and moments.
Yes. Um, how about we start off by reintroducing ourselves since it's been so long, and then we can talk about kind of what we've been up to.
Okay.
So I'll let you go first, big sis.
Alrighty. Hey everyone. I'm B, the big twister. Um, if you follow either of our pages, you know that we are twisters from the same Mister, Papa G, and my daddy. So I'm territorial about my daddy, and everyone knows that. We've been away for a minute doing life, but I don't know. I'm the big twister. I'm the eldest girl of Gregory. Um, I met him officially at the age of 21. And we started off kind of rocky, but we built this awesome relationship. To date, there are 10 of us that are known because Papa was a rolling stone. So that's how we became twisters from the same mister. Again, I'm B, the big twister. This is T, the little twister. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm T, little twister, twister number two. Um, I um found B and Papa G through what was it? Ooh, it was 3 years ago now.
Three
Can you
years.
believe? I can't
3
believe it's been that long. Like, oh
I
my
know.
God. So, I guess that was January 2022. I got my ancestry results and I had a mystery half sibling pop up, not B, someone else.
Oh, world of change.
That I reached out and through a lot of conversations found out that uh, the person who I thought was my bio dad was not my bio dad, and it was actually Papa G. And so, just to let you know, when I say my mom or mama, that's my biological mom. I was raised with her and my siblings through her. And then my dad is the man that I thought was my biological dad. He's the man that's on my birth certificate. He's very active in my life, has a relationship with me and my girls. I have a relationship with my siblings through him, who unfortunately I'm no longer blood related to, but the love is still there just as much as ever. And then insert Papa G, also known as the Mister. And he is my bio dad who I discovered 3 years ago. Um, and so, um, even though B did not take the INC test, we found each other, or she found me, reached out to me like as soon as she found out about me, and it has been love ever since. We officially met in person October of 2022. So October is our twist anniversary. And that was really love at first sight.
You're
And
so thorough and detailed. I love it. No.
and yeah, and so from our interactions and just the love we have from each other, Sisters from the Same Mister was born. And it is always shenanigans, antics, all of the foolery when we get
Yeah.
together. And so these past 6 months have been, um, yeah, just life and trying to adjust to different things that have been happening in my personal life. Um, I homeschool my girls. We've been homeschooling away from home. And it's been nice to get a change of scenery. It's also allowed me to see B. And so more about that later. But yeah, I've been able to have some really good experiences. And so Yeah. N-
Also, this meeting, this union, we've learned so much over these last 3 years. We're both lefties. We have so many quirks that are so similar. To say that we only met 3 years ago, there's so many commonalities that are eerie. And that DNA is strong. So again, we've come up with this notion that if you look like us and you got some glasses, you might need to do some ancestry, because one thing that man did do is make us blind. And we all have these looks about ourselves. So
yes.
I'm not shame or shy to say, you know who your real daddy is? I don't say, do you know who your daddy is? I have to ask, do you know who your real daddy
yes.
is?
So, yeah. Man, I in the 3 years we've had so many firsts, and some of them we've already talked about in previous videos. So you can check out our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, Twisters from the Same Mister, and you can see we talk about the first time we met each other. Uh, we talk about first time meeting Papa G. Did we talk about the family reunion last year?
I don't think we did.
Well, I
I
guess it
don't.
would have
I
been 2 years ago now because it's 2025. But
no. I don't think we did. We never touched on it because we started the interviews with the siblings, so we never really got to
okay.
that.
Well, we can talk about that today because that'll be one of
Okay.
our twister
Yeah.
first. So, I guess we can start there.
Yeah. Because
Man,
that was.
so yeah, it was 2023. We decided that we had never been to a family reunion on Papa G's side, so we wanted to go. It lined up, and so we were in. What was it like the border of Tennessee and Mississippi? We kept
Tennessee,
driving back
Mississippi. Yeah.
back and forth between the two. Man, that was a lot for my city suburban self.
It
But
was rural, but it was a beautiful atmosphere. The environment was just so peaceful. And the family that we met, they loved on us. And it's crazy because our our dad had never been to one of those family reunions either. Now he knew some of his cousins from Chicago, but he'd
yeah,
never been to any of the family reunions. So the way that they embraced us without, none of it was such an amazing thing. Um, and
man,
then we had an ultimate surprise. Um,
yes.
when
Well,
we
before we get
discussed
to the surprise, I just want to say that like when I signed up for it, because B had B had been in contact with people through
right,
email, Facebook, all of that for
yeah,
years. So they knew who she was when she signed up, but nobody knew who I was. So when I signed
right,
up, they were like, wait a minute, is this a and so they like paused like all of my registration and reached out to make sure that I was a real person. I wasn't trying to steal their money. And then when I got there, because like when I told them, I was like, I'm Greg's daughter, they're like, oh, what's and so when I walked in, they were like, come here, give us a hug. How do you say your name? We want to make sure we say it right. Because there was like all of this fuss, but it was like instant love. And it was so funny to
right.
go from, are you a hacker to you're one of us, let us shower you with
How
love.
you
And then the big surprise.
So we discussed going to the family reunion with our dad, and he was like, "Yeah, I never been. I'm not really on that. I'm not with that. I'm not with any of that." And so we were like, "Dang, we gonna throw us out to the wolves?" And we thought nothing of it. We were like, "We just still gonna do it. Long if you there, I'm there. We there. We good. Long as we know, we gonna have a good time. If they love us, if they don't." So we get to the event hall on that Saturday, and it's this car in the parking lot, and I'm like, "Who is this weird ass man at a park with kids ducked down in the car?" I'm like, "This weirdo." And then so still didn't think anything of it. We got out. I'm like, still like these weirdos. I'm thinking my nieces might want to go play at the park, so I got to be mindful of this weird ass man in the parking lot. So because he ducked down when he seen us, so we go up and we do the introductions and everything. And we're just standing outside talking to some of our cousins, getting to know them. They're asking us questions. They're telling us about our late grandfather and how much of an impact that he had on their lives and how much they loved him. And then all of a sudden, this tall, bright skinned, handsome gentleman walks around the building. And me personally, I just erupt into screams and tears. And I'm laughing and I'm running to my daddy because that's what he does. And then Tasha finally looked up and realized that what I'm screaming for, and it was just such an emotional. It was just so beautiful. He surprised us, and as much of a character as he is, that moment that he provided for the both of us, and that was the first time she and I had got to be in our dad's presence together. So for that moment, it was beautiful. I mean, it was so overwhelming. It was very emotional, and I'm trying not to cry.
Yeah. It see so uh, one thing about Papa G, he is a Rolling Stone in every sense of the word. Like that man is always on the go. And I remember talking to him about it. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm maxed out on my vacation. I done took all these trips. I ain't going nowhere." And so, I didn't get the well, I didn't get the I ain't going. I ain't never been. I got the I ain't never been. Um, y'all have a good time. Like he was much more soft with me, but I think that's because our relationship is still new. We still trying to like fill each other out. So
For sure.
he was like, yeah, I just ain't got no vacation, and I done took all these trips. Yeah, make sure y'all tell them who my daddy is. That's the
For
connection.
sure. He did that. He did. He did that.
When they ask you why you there and what's your connection is Donnell. Your connection is Donnell. And so I'm
He
like,
did.
okay, I get it. And so when I saw him, it took a minute to register because I just had it in my head that he wasn't gonna be there. So I'm like, wait a minute, no, no, I'm not seeing things. And it was. I think what really got me was the daddy daughter dance. Um,
That's my thing.
yes, that's their thing, and I got initiated into it, and I just was not expecting it, and
And all of
so
our cousins, we were able to they got to dance with their dads and things. And
yeah,
yeah, that was really awesome.
it
But
was.
another thing that really, when they asked him to get up and speak, and he was like, "Y'all, come on," and we like, they want you to speak, and that he was just as ecstatic as we were to have that moment. That moment meant just as much to him as it did to us, and he made sure that we knew that that moment meant as much to him as it did to us. So that was
Yeah,
awesome because he gets such a bad rap sometimes, but his heart and his intentions have been, you know, so genuine, when you get
yeah,
to know him. So that was amazing.
yeah. It was, and the love was just so overwhelming. And to realize that I have so many cousins that are like in my backyard that I never even knew.
They walk right across him.
Yeah, and so that was, yeah. Even though it's been, like a year and a half now, when I think about it, it's still such an overwhelming experience to just be embraced simply because you're family. And when I say that they love hard and they show up for each other, baby,
Yeah, for sure.
uh,
I just got a text from Pam yesterday. Her man, they own it, and it's like, ooh, it's a good feeling. That country,
yes,
that country, but they got that Chicago in them. But that
yeah,
country love that they have is it's amazing. They are so, and it's if you see how our family interacts on Facebook, you be like, oh Lord, they so over the top. But it's not over the top because that's who they are. That's a
yeah,
real thing. You think people put on for social media, but when I say how they rally around each other, I mean they really like it was real.
Yeah.
And it felt good to be a part of it. And to still like now again, like you said, a year and a half later, they're still inclusive. Hey, how you doing? Are you coming to the next one? Like y'all haven't even started planning yet. That's all right. Are you on deck? We gonna be
Yeah.
looking for you. You know, so those things and just that open door, they're there. It's amazing.
Yes. So, yeah, that that was really good. And I guess we can talk about ah,
The birthday.
yes.
Okay, so September the 21st, I made 46. And my twister was like, I've never got to spend a birthday with you. I'm on my way. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But she was able to make that happen. And
Yeah.
when I tell you, from the moment that she arrived, we were I guess the new song is Boots on the Ground. We was boots on the ground from the moment that she got here. When I say I don't know if we didn't really sleep, like because we had so many things that we needed to do together to make sure that this was a memorable moment. If we were
Yes.
doing everything or we were doing nothing, we were just laughing and crying and laughing and and she got to meet some of my good friends and they rallied around her as well. And one thing we do when we get together is we do childish things that we never got the opportunity to do as children. So this year we did, I mean, that last year we did I Fly, and we had a sponsor because you shouldn't have created us if you wasn't going to give us these opportunities. So every year that we do things, I have to call back and say, Daddy, your daughters would like to do. And he makes it happen for us. So that's a blessing that we were able to, but we were able to do I Fly, and that was probably one of the most memorable things. It wasn't as fun as I thought it would be, but considering that we did it together, and that was another memory that we have, that it was well worth it. Then we were cute. We got to get dressed up and stuff. And when I say I didn't know that my little twister had that in her when she got dressed, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we doing here. It's like, but I loved every minute of
I
it.
was just trying
In
to
that
channel my inner Vic Twister.
And in that moment, though, I didn't realize that she had spent time with my son, but she had never got to spend time with Deasia because Deasia was out of town the first time she came, and so it was just an instant connection. And then I'm like, do y'all realize this is y'all first meeting? But they were loving on each other
Yeah.
so much. It just was so natural. So it was just like again an amazing feeling because it was just a easy fit. If there was
Yeah.
no like, I don't know, she was like, "Oh, that's my auntie girl." Like, yeah, but y'all never met. She's like, "Oh, but that's my auntie girl."
Yeah.
So it was amazing. So that was my experience. I mean, we did so much. There were some other things that played out that,
Look.
and, and maybe we'll include some snippets once the videos was. But yeah, that was the first two that I mean, all of our firsts have been amazing. So
Yes. Yes. I feel. Oh man, it was such a fun weekend, and I needed that. To
no kids.
just yeah, no kids, to just be with my sister, and it was such an amazing time. And I enjoy getting a peek into your world, seeing the dynamics between you and Asia, because like I'd already seen like how you and Mike get together and like what that's like. But I had talked to Deasia, we've texted and we've kept in touch. So it didn't seem like I was meeting her for the first time.
Right.
And I really had to remember, like, oh no, yeah, she wasn't there because since she's been back, like every like birthday Zoom that I've had, everything she's been like right on camera, right there with you, and so Yeah, it was just such a good time getting to be in your world for a little bit and hang out and celebrate. We had so much good food.
We
Man.
did. We ate good. We did.
Yeah.
Plug some of those spots. What do we do? Madam Fortune, Lepley's, Table 22. All of this is in Tampa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we ate real good.
Yeah, and I'm glad that like because we had decided to homeschool away for a bit, that I was in a place where I could get to you so easily. Because that definitely played a big factor in this in making it happen. Because if I was back in Chicago, it would have felt like a whole thing to me, and I would have been like, oh, I don't know if I could pull it off. Can I do this? Can I not? I should have planned better. But it felt really good to just be like, hey, what are you doing?
And I appreciate that, you had the help in the background
Yeah,
that gave you, that allowed you to be able to make that. So thank y'all,
yeah,
for that, because again, we created some more firsts, a few
yeah.
firsts and one first.
Yes, it was so much fun. Yeah. Let's see. What else is there? Oh, so your kids meeting grandma.
So December of 24, we were able to. Deaja's working away, out of town, and she was 5 hours from Chicago. So we went to spend Christmas with her in Iowa, and I'm thinking like, wow, because of our family dynamic, my kids had never met their paternal great grandmother. So I'm like, we're too close to do this. We're gonna be driving around Iowa all weekend. Why not take some time? And we took that drive to Chicago to allow my kids to meet their great grandmother. And it was, again, such a great thing, an amazing trip, because my grandmother was overjoyed because she felt like we considered her, like she felt like we weren't getting anything out of it, but we did something for her. But what she doesn't realize is that it did something for us as well. We
Yeah,
got something out of that because the love that was shared in those moments, my kids will remember forever. And and she was just so happy, and she just was like, "Oh my God!" And then it was so funny because she said, your kids act like they already know me and they love me. I say, regardless of the space in between, my kids know that you are their grandmother. So it's an instant love. It's an instant connection, because for us, family is big. When you raise country, family is something that's important. So for them, it was like, oh, this grandma, they gonna love on her. She's asking them questions. She's getting to know them. And she's just the way she listened when they were responding, it was like she was just like, oh. And then one thing is like, to know our grandmother is to love.
oh,
Is my phone still there?
yeah.
I had Oh yeah, I had got a call. She acts
Oh,
like she don't know what's going on, right? So she'll be like, and so her and Mike are talking about basketball, and then she's like, oh, because D Rose, and I'm looking at my grandma like, know what the current affairs is about certain stuff when you act like you don't know what's going on. So that's one thing. After we left, that's something that we laughed about so much, because my son Mike was like, Grandma Shaw knew a lot about what Derrick Rose had going on, and this, that, and third. And we rode through O Block, and Grandma was like, oh, yeah, that's O Block. And stuff. So it was like, so again, those little things mattered so much in the moments of that. So that was a great thing. And my daddy, um, that really made him happy. And I'm like, they made a big fuss about something that I felt was necessary. I mean, we were too close to say that my children had never met her and that we don't have a promise of tomorrow. So it was like, let me go ahead and make this a pot, and it wasn't nothing for us to take that time out of our day, but they felt like we had done the biggest thing ever. And I just felt like it was my duty and my responsibility to make that happen. And the memories that we made in those moments and the pictures, it was just so well worth it. I mean, I'm thankful for that because my kids, they we have my maternal grandmother, which who is nine, she'll be 93 this year. So my kids were
Ooh.
raised with her. So to be able to give them that, because we met my grandfather in his last days, so the kids, they were younger, so they don't really recall that moment, that, but to say now that they've met their grandmother, their great grandmother, and they're able to have those memories, it's well worth it. I enjoyed it the first, and I mean, and she still talks about it. It's
Oh
like,
yes. That so I don't think that it's a small thing if you grow up
yeah,
traditionally.
yeah,
Like, of course you're gonna take your kids to see your grandparents if they're still around and all of that. But given our circumstances and then a lot of the drama and attention that has like come along with this, it is a big thing. And I think some of these things are things that Papa G and Grandma never thought would happen, and to
right.
see them happen, it's a big thing. And I don't want to, take away from that because, like you said, it was a no brainer to you.
Right.
Um, but also a couple years ago, like it was probably something that wasn't even like
I thought it,
a,
it,
a
it
thought.
never would have crossed my mind a few
Yeah.
years ago at all. You are absolutely right.
And so it is a big deal, these moments. I know for me, like it kind of felt like meeting grandma, establishing a relationship with her, it felt like a second chance because my mom's mom passed when I was 17.
Right.
And so and I've talked about this before in previous videos, like my mom's mom, I was born and raised with her, and so she just holds a very special place in my heart. I know that I held a very special place in her heart. And there was when she left, it was like, oh, I lost my granny. And I have other grandparents, and I have some that are amazing. And yet it's still there was a void, and to meet grandma, it's like, oh, I get a second chance at having a biological grandmother again. That and for her to embrace me the way that she has, it just really feels like a gift. And it's not a like, oh, she's replacing somebody, or oh, some the people that are in my life don't matter. It's not like that. It's just such a gift that I didn't think that I'd ever have, and now that I have it, um, I appreciate it. And so those seemingly small moments, like just like us with us talking about our first, like sisters celebrate their birthdays together, but it is a big deal that we got to celebrate your birthday together because it's something that we never got to do and we didn't think that we would. And so, um, yeah, I think that for her, and if you talk to her, she'll be like, "Oh, I'm old. I don't know how many more days I got to be like, Grandma, quit talking like that."
Right.
But
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
and so I think that when she's experiencing all of these things, it's like every day that she gets to experience something, every day that she has a relationship or a new experience with us, it's something that she never thought was going to
And
happen. And
go ahead. And one thing
no,
she says all the time is like, "I didn't even get to raise y'all," and it's so funny because she should be like, "Y'all just love on me so much," and I don't understand, and because I really don't think she understands the magnitude of her presence in our lives.
yeah,
Because again, with me losing my mom at a young age, I have my maternal grandmother, which I was raised with as well. But she's total. They're total opposites in the way they carry themselves and how they do. You know, so it's just different. You know what I'm saying? I love my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, for who she is, and I love, the history that we have, and I thank God for 93 years. Um, but this new relationship with grandmother is just as important, and it's valuable as well. There are so many missed moments and occasions, but I'm grateful for the memories that we are able to make. And it's also refreshing that, so if I call my 93-year-old grandmother and I'm like, hey, grandma, hey, BJ, what you doing? All right, Gail. You know what I'm saying? If I call grandma, she's like, hey, the excitement in her voice is just like, oh, I'm so glad you called me. I don't
Yeah.
do a lot of calling and I don't like to bother nobody. But she's still so excited. I tell myself, I'm going to call grandma. I'm going to give her like 10 minutes. I'm on the phone for 2 hours and it doesn't even seem like that. The time flies because the conversations are so at ease. And then, I can ask her questions about history and she'll give, what it is. And she says, like, oh, I don't be liking to give advice. And I have to say all the time, look, we need the knowledge that you have. If it's going to
Yeah.
prevent us from, enduring some mess, go ahead and say it. But I don't be wanting to be responsible. So it just be so funny how she just be trying to
Yeah.
separate herself from stuff. But ma'am, you are a part of this life now. I have to remind her, ma'am, you are locked in. You are a part of our lives now. So that means whatever you got to give us, knowledge wise, love wise, we want it all.
Give it.
So it's just
Yes.
so funny.
Yeah. I already know that it's going to be a long conversation when I talk to her. So I'm like, I I got a plan to talk to grandma because
That's
this ain't finna be a quick conversation. Because every
really
single
for real.
time, and then we'll be like, she'll like, all right, I'm gonna let you go. Oh, but before you go, one more thing, and then it just, but but I love it. And I'll take all of it. Because I feel like I have so many years to like make up for.
So yeah, for sure, for sure. And then it's
As,
like the way the the excitement that you get when dad calls to talk about that. My mama
yeah,
said you talk to her and stuff. I'm like, dang, he be like, you talk to my mama, da, 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 da. Like, yeah. The excitement that he gets with it too is also, it's so funny because he just be like, he used to be like, I didn't think my mama liked me. Y'all made my mama love me again. Like what?
man, I remember him just being like, trying to prepare me and give me warning. And I'm like, I don't know what lady you talking about,
I
cause
get that. Yeah.
and she did tell me that she told him the first time he brought me around, don't just be showing up on my door with no stranger. If you got something to tell me now. And she was like, yeah, I told him that. And so I just remember there was like all of this like angst about like how I was going to be received. And she looked at me and she was like, you sure you want to be a part of this family? It don't matter. You're a part of this family. And she pulled me into a hug and gave me
Those hugs, I'll tell you, baby, when she wrap you in, my son, Mike was like, man, she hugged me tight. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's years of like, let me give you all of this. It's like she wrap you in so tight. But it's so hard to believe that she feels like so unconsidered. Like she just feels like she's undeserving of it. And it's just
a
like, I'm
yeah.
not doing nothing but being, I'm not going out of my way. I'm not trying to buy you no mansion. And she just be so happy about the smallest thing. And that right there just makes you want to do everything you can for her. Cause she just be
Yeah.
so just like, I love
And my kids are still young. And so like
it. They don't
I have
understand
to
as
I have
much.
to be on when I bring them around. And there's this tension between like I didn't grow up with her, so I'm trying to like experience her and I want to give her my undivided attention.
Yeah.
And I also want you guys to have this because we kind of have to get to know her at the same time. But if you guys are there, then I got to be mama. I got to make sure y'all using the
Yeah.
bathroom, y'all eating. Like
Yeah.
I got to be mindful of like your emotions when you're uncomfortable, if you're not feeling well. And I don't want to
Right.
do all of that. I just want to be in the moment and I want y'all to be in the moment. And so it I normally bring them with me. Um especially like when we were back home, like it was like our weekly thing, bi-weekly thing. We had business to take care of in the city, and then we would just go visit her afterwards. And then when when we came back home, the last time I saw her, I showed up and I didn't have the girls, and she was like, "Where the girls at?" And I was like, "Well, I just thought it would just be me and you. You know, they're spending time with their dad, because we've been away and they miss them, and so it's just gonna be me and you." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And so best believe she was like, "So, you gonna bring the girls next time?"
So let me think about this. So, too, when we went to go to lunch, when we were down there, we went to go to lunch, right? So we like we went to I can't think of what the name is, right, but the food was really good. And so we ordered something and it wasn't that good, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want this. So of course, grandma's like, oh, well, go ahead and sit it right here. I'm gonna go ahead and eat it, right? So we just look here because we like, girl. By the time we looked over there, she had to push that plate back over there. It's like, no, I thought you was gonna eat it. She like, I don't know, it wasn't working for me. So Market, we dying because we hadn't already tasted it. And we like, yeah, this ain't gonna be on the menu. This is not it. And it was just the fact that we laughing because some of the things she does, my kids, they are dying laughing. But it is those things that are most memorable. The unintentional stuff. And she was saying, she was telling me just how nervous she was to meet them. And I'm like, why? She was just like, because I didn't know if they was going to take to me like the girl. She's like, I didn't know if they was going to take to me. She said, but they just talk to me like I'm regular. Ma'am,
You
because you
are regular.
grandma.
And so, and when we come over there, she be like, "I ain't had kids over here in a long time. My house ain't made for kids. Are they okay? I don't have no snacks." And I'm like, "Grandma, like, I come with the snacks and the drinks. Like, it's fine." And
We prepare. We know.
she's like, "Yeah, but I just wish I had something for them. I just," and I'm like, "Grandma, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it."
But
But
she's so concerned. So like when I spent the night over there and she was like, she said, you'll sleep right here. And I said, she said, but I'll be right upstairs if you scared. I'm like, Grandma, what you gonna do? I'm 45 years old at that time. What you gonna do if somebody come through here? I'm gonna have to fight my way. She's like, if you get scared, I'm right upstairs. But it was just so funny because she was so serious. I'm like, oh, I'm 45 years old. Just if you get scared, I'm right upstairs. Ma'am. She has such a concerning and caring heart.
she does. She's such a sweet girl.
So what other firsts have we had? Let's see. I don't know.
Um, so my big first, I got to have dinner with my biological parents together
Oh
for
yeah,
the first time.
for sure.
Papa G
What were
came
your
to town.
feelings walking into it?
Oh, I was so nervous. I did not know what to expect. Um, this has been an emotional roller coaster for me and my parents, my mom and my dad. Um, and we, the three of us have all processed in our own way and has all been so very differently. Um, and there's still more processing to do. There's still more conversations to be had. Um, and so me and my mom have not quite seen eye to eye on how to process this, how to move forward, how to forge these different relationships. And so there was a lot of hesitancy on her part to do this. But she agreed, and I'm very thankful. And she yeah, I didn't know what to expect. There was a moment where like I didn't even think she was gonna show up. Me and Papa G were in the restaurant, and she had some stuff happen, so she was running late, and we're like, she finna blow us off. She not gonna show up, but she did, and it was awkward at first. Like
Magic.
it was really awkward at first. I could tell that her guard was still up. I didn't really know what to expect. I'm still getting to know Papa G, so to have to be like the middle person and icebreaker, it was really weird and a lot of pressure on me. But as time went on, like she loosened up, I loosened up. Papa G is always
Ready for whatever.
look, man, that man don't need to loosen up. He come ready to play. So, as time went on, like it got better, it got more comfortable, and I can tell that they still have a lot of love there for each other, which is kind of like it should be obvious because they remained in touch all these years. They continue to be friends, um, and so it was yeah, I could see that. I could see that like this wasn't just like, a
Yeah.
fling or something like that. There's history there. There's love there. They genuinely care about each other, which made me feel good. I don't really know why, but it just felt good to know that like they don't hate each other.
Right.
That they can coexist in the same space. And it also kind of made me sad because I felt like I missed out on something, on seeing them interact growing up and like what that would have been like
Right.
to witness that growing up. And so and that's one of the things that I continue to process and struggle with is the what ifs versus the what was. Because you can romanticize the what ifs and think that it's gonna be like all this wonderful, like whatever. And the reality is it might not have been like that. Like you really might have gotten the better of the two with how things work. But that's something you'll never really know. If this was a movie, we could do a parallel universe and see it how it play out. But it's not. It's real life. So you can only imagine, and we tend to imagine best case scenario, grass is greener on the other side type thing. And so I don't know what it would have been like. Like they maybe if if all of this would have known from the beginning, maybe they wouldn't have been friends. And maybe that love that I see, like, would have eroded. And the fact that they didn't know that Papa G was my bio dad allowed them to continue a friendship and have love. So now that I'm walking into this, it's not a like, ooh, I hate that woman. Ugh, I can't believe that man. Like, I don't have to walk into that. And so that's nice. I got a lot of great stories about their history together, things that I didn't even know, like stories I had never even heard about my mom. I got to hear
You
these
got to
and
see her as a person versus as mom. You got to hear
yeah.
about her outside of self.
Well, not even just that, but it was just like a different side of her because I've heard stories of her. I've gotten to see different um I've got to see her in different lights, right? But I just got to hear stories about her that I've never heard before. Um, and I was like, oh, I've got to, yeah, I just really got a peek into her more complete story. Like, there's still things that I don't know. I'll probably never know, but I got some of the puzzle pieces got filled in that I didn't even know were missing. Like, it's kind of like if a puzzle's like, a three-part puzzle, and so you working on the first part and you think it's complete, and then you complete it, and then it like, oh no, it connects to the second part. That's kind
Right.
of what it felt like. And yeah, I also got to have a picture with both of them. So
Did
I
you
was like,
feel any after that, as exciting as it was to live in the moment of that, like once it was over, did what were your emotions then? Did you feel like a level of sadness? Did you go through an emotional roller coaster of things when now processing it? Because again, when you're in it, we're excited and we're enjoying the moment. But then now when you go back by yourself and you have to sit in it and you think about everything, how was the car ride home?
um,
You're still high, low. How
I,
was your car ride?
I I was really elated. That I got to experience that. I got a picture with them.
Right.
Um, that's something that I don't even know that I have with my mom and my dad. Because when I was really young, my dad moved to another state, and so like we've always had a long distance parent child relationship. Um, and so I don't know that I have a picture of the two of them together. Like not even when they came together for like my graduations and stuff, like high school graduation and college graduation. I don't, yeah, I don't know that I have a picture of them even for those. Maybe, you know what? I do. I have a picture um from my wedding, but it's like all of my parents because I come from a blended family. So like just my mom and my dad, I don't think I have that. I think it's all the parents, and I think even my in-laws are in there. Like it's a group picture. So to
Right.
have a picture just me, my mom, my bio dad, it's just something special about that. And so it felt really good because especially when all of this came out, I never thought I was gonna be able to get them in the same room
For
because
sure. Yeah.
of how my mom was handling this. I didn't even know, to be honest, if I wanted to meet Papa G when this all came out. Like everybody's like, "So are you gonna meet him?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like I didn't even know what to call him, and he was just my bio dad for a long time because Greg didn't sound right, and like he couldn't be dad because I already had a dad, and that felt it just didn't feel right. And I was like trying different names and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what to call this man. And so it took a while for me to land on Papa G, and then knowing my journey and how I had to get there, like my mom had her own journey, and so I just didn't know if she was ever going to arrive here. And so I think I was just real. Afterwards on the ride home, I was just really really happy that I got to experience something that I never thought I would. And then I was just like, I I felt kind of sad for them, um, because even though they remained friends for all these years and they kept in touch, um, I felt sad that like once all of this came out, that kind of it was a hard stop with how they both chose to process it and butting heads and like the care that they had for each other didn't just go away because they couldn't agree on how to move forward with this situation. And so that has to be very hurtful to have somebody that you still care about,
Right.
but you're not in contact with them because you guys have this issue that you can't. And so that I just felt sad. But yeah, I don't know what the future holds. If there will be more of us getting together when he comes to town and visit. But either way, I do feel satisfied. I feel very happy that I got to experience this. Um, and I hope that it was kind of healing for me. And so I hope that it was equally as healing for them too. I think that because Papa G can be very well, this is my lifestyle and I ain't apologizing for being me. And if you got a problem with it, that's your problem. Cause one thing, I'm be me. Like because he can be so that, I think that it can be very easy to forget that underneath that is a man with real feelings and
For
people
sure.
that he cares about. And I remember, he told me that like he doesn't have affairs, he has relationships, and that like the women that he choose to give his time and affection to, there's a genuine connection there.
Yeah.
And so to for that connection to be severed, there has like if there's a connection based on you genuinely having feelings for that person, if that connection is severed or like drops for any reason, like of course you're gonna feel that. You're not gonna be like, oh well, whatever. And like even with the kids, like, um, because he doesn't have the same relationship with all of us, I know some of that hurts him. And it can
For sure.
but because he's just like, I ain't gonna beg nobody to be in my life, it could just come across like, oh, he don't care, but he does. And
Yeah. He.
so
Yeah.
and I could really feel like I could feel his heart for me, for my mom, for like all of us because that did come up in conversation, his relationship with all the kids and stuff, and you could just really feel his heart.
Right.
And so yeah, I'm glad I got to experience that. It was it was very emotional. It was a whirlwind. I was like, oh my goodness. But this whole journey has been, I don't think there has been an interaction with anybody that has not been a whirlwind of emotions and just kind of like overwhelming and overtaking me, and trying to process it. And this there's 10 of us. So to have to go through that over and
Known,
over and over.
known,
Okay,
and
yes, there's 10
make,
known.
make known because I'm pretty sure that we have a few more. But I appreciate he that even though you all didn't know where you were going, he knew how important it was for you to have that moment with you and your mom. But he wanted it to be in a way that was comfortable for you. Now, granted, he does still care about your mom. He didn't give a dang about that. It was more so your comfort in dealing with that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because, like you said, he can be over the top sometimes and just matter of factly about who he is. And I'm not saying like he dumbed himself down, but he stepped outside of himself to give you the opportunity to lead in that, to be
yeah,
find your footing in that. And for him, that's a major step. You understand, for
yeah,
him, because he is so matter of factly when it comes to him. And that's something as I'm continue to grow daily, I'm learning sometimes you have to be that way about you. So that part, as much as I hated it in younger years, but as I continue to grow and mature in my own personal life, I realize how important that is. And I appreciate that in him. You know,
yeah.
he's going to he gonna be selfish about himself. Now he's
Yes,
not a selfish person because he will give you whatever he can, but he is selfish about himself. When it
yeah,
comes to making sure that Greg is gone is okay, he is, and I respect that. It was hard at first, so I appreciate that you got to have that experience. And I love the way, when you call me, the excitement. I mean, even when you called me beforehand, how
yeah,
nervous you were, and I'm like, girl, and then the after call, the excitement, and then of course when he called, it was just like I always be feeling like the mother hen, sometimes, because how he does, it's like, um, as you two are growing, he knows that you and I are extremely close. He knows that I'm gonna always I'ma know what's in the know. So when you're missing for a couple of days, he's like, hey, have you talked to Taja? I'm like, sir, I talk to Taja damn near every day. He gets so worked up about making sure that you're okay and that you haven't jumped ship on your relationship with him, because he wants to make sure that he hasn't done anything. And it's so funny because it's like, again, with him being so matter of factly, what you nervous for? But he gets so nervous, when it comes to that. And I just be like, you have no idea how excited this girl is to get to know you too. It's just she's not as outwardly aggressive as he and I are about how we operate. So of course he be like, she all right, she good. Is she okay?
yeah,
I'm like, she good, and it just be so funny because he just gets so excited about, oh, when I talked to her today, she sent me pictures of the girls, it's the inclusion, you know. So it's so funny because again, I be feeling like the mother hen. I'm like, really? Like, come on now, you know. And then when you tell me something he said or he did that really touched you, I'm just like, oh, because again, I've experienced him in a way, and I know his heart, and I know, like, if he does something, he does it with a genuine heart, and your response to it, it just, I'd be like, oh, that's so sweet, because I know, what I'm saying,
yeah.
the impact. So then I have to tell him, well, yeah, she said she got X, Y, and Z. She got your pictures and da da da. He's like, what she say? What she say?
Oh,
He looking like, I'm like, golly, I'm gonna pet you on your head, puppy. Sit down. But he just,
to his pictures.
but he just still, it's like he still be like grandma.
Yeah,
Is it real? Because again, I was the last one to come along, and then all of a sudden, you pop in. So he thought he was done with all of this get to know and this, that, and the
Yeah.
third. You know? So now, and then as much as you and I are alike, we're different because I have this rough exterior, about certain stuff, and you're softer. So for him, he like, and then the void, the issues that plagued us, he doesn't want to repeat of. So of course he's operating differently, but he doesn't know if it's working, if it's right,
Yeah.
because it's all new. So that's the nerves that come along with that. We've got the machine working, but he's like, I ain't never experienced, so it's different. So he's kind of nerved up about it. So he gotta,
Oh,
but yeah, girl, he be all excited. So he's so funny.
he is. But it has been like it has been a journey. Um, and it's gonna continue to be a journey as we find our footing and figure each other out. But I do appreciate the the care that he is taking with me because I see it, and he's very careful. He's like, you already have a dad. That was like the first time we talked. He was like, you already have a dad. I'm not interested in taking his place. I just want to get to know you for myself. I want you to get to know me for yourself. And even now, I think he recently texted me not too long ago and he was like, hey, I hope my interacting and reaching out isn't causing no trouble because I really don't want that. He's like, I just, I just want, to forge a relationship. And I'm like, no, it's not causing any trouble at all. And it is very greatly appreciated. And he was like, okay, good. That's what I want to hear. So I can sense that like he is trying to proceed with care and consideration, and I just really really appreciate that. Um, I wish there was a manual and a handbook to be like, hey, this is how you do it, but you can't have that because everybody's different personalities, different experiences. And you can't write a handbook for this kind of stuff because like even me and you like finding him later in life, like even our stories and how that came to be is so totally different. And so yeah, it's I appreciate the care that he's exercising.
I think too, like that's why us creating this platform and being so open and honest about the experiences is a great thing because this as we're going through the works of this, we're realizing that this is more relevant than we could have ever imagined. But then there are so many people that aren't able to process and aren't able to live their truth and their reality when finding these things out. And me personally, I could only imagine how I would feel if I had to live a secret life after finding out that I'm not able to experience those relationships, be it good or bad, or to explore them rather.
Yeah.
Have to know that my dad may live next door to me, but because of someone else's feelings, I can't figure
Yeah.
out who, because I'll be completely honest. Like once I met him and then I met grandma and then I continued to operate and go through life and then starting to meet my siblings and things and then and realizing some of our commonalities, I realized like who I am. Because although I felt like, oh, I'm 21, I know who I am, I'm this, that, and the third, opening that door really showed me who I am. Like there's some things that I could not have, like wondering like, well, why am I this way? And I don't know this and that. And it was more, that the revelation of self continue
Yeah.
to continues to evolve as I continue to get to know certain stuff. Again, looking at you, looking at me, like we don't share the same mom, but we have this look about ourselves. We have these mannerisms about ourselves that are so, so distinctive that it's crazy as hell, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's this platform that we're building and the openness and the willing to be vulnerable made be a blessing to someone else. Although it's not going to be received well by everyone, it's our truth. And for that, I'm grateful that we're able to do that. And I'm also glad that Dad is open to sharing what he shares with us. And he, he'll tell his story, and it's his story and his truth. And
Yeah.
for that, I'm grateful, because again, I'm pretty sure there's more of us out there, and I pray, that one day all 10 of us can coexist for him and for grandma. That's a prayer for me, that we could
Yeah.
all coexist. We don't have to be buddy buddy, but I think that right there would be an amazing thing for all 10 of us to coexist for that purpose.
I agree. I would love for us all to come together and for him to just experience us all at the same time in the same place.
For sure.
Um, and who knows? Stranger things have happened. Uh, so yeah. I'm excited to be back at it with you. There's but like you said, there's so many people that are experiencing the same thing, and they don't have an outlet. They feel all alone, and so I'm really excited to be able to give them something that they can watch, they can listen to, and just know that they're not alone. There's somebody else out there that experiences it. I'm excited to be able to share our story where like we like each other, we're embracing each other, sharing the fun that we're getting into while we get to know each other. Because you do hear so much of the negative side not being embraced, or that person passed, or you have to live in secret. And I know some of the things, the hurdles of processing this, we're going to get into next month in our video. And we got some other things, we got interviews lined up, so I'm really
Yeah.
excited for just the things that we have coming up.
And we welcome, if you are interested in telling your story and opening up and being a part of Twisters with the Same Mister, join us on YouTube or send us an email. We would love to, experience others people's experiences. This is a platform that, although we're sharing our story, we would love to engage and to help you get your story out there. So we welcome, again, emails.
Yep, twisters from
Follow.
the same mister.
Yeah. So again, we are so ecstatic about where we're headed. We sorry that we've been gone so long, but we're back at it. But stay tuned. What is it? Like, follow, share, subscribe, all
All
of
of
that.
the above.
And get ready for the ride.
Yes, because it's a hell of a ride, that's for sure.
For
All
sure.
right. Well, till next time. Bye.
Bye.